All right. So it's time for our news. And right now, man, one of the biggest stories that's going on as we speak is the death of John McCain. John McCain died at 81 from after a year of battling brain cancer. Um, and it's all over the news, man. How the Trump administration is responding to it, how great of a hero that John McCain was, how easy it was for him to reach across the aisle and be a very principled statesman, lawman, and all these other things. Right, he was a hero for his actions and the Vietnam War. Everybody, they're laying a lot of plaudits down for John McCain, right? And we've talked about, I know I talked about this with like XX Tentacion a few weeks ago when that young man passed away. Well, we talked about whether or not, there's this thing where you're not allowed to talk ill of the dead, right? Folks, they look at it in bad taste, and they will shame you into, it's the whole adage of, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all, right? And so, I kind of watch the media go over and above and beyond their plaudits for John McCain, man. Talk about just how big of a hero he was. And I look at, they make a big thing about his relationship with Donald Trump right now, right? They made that's a whole thing. He rebuked Donald Trump. He didn't like Donald Trump's style. Donald Trump is half the man that John McCain was. Donald Trump will never be the man that John McCain could be. John McCain was a real leader of the Republican Party. John McCain is he upholds the ideals that we should all aspire to hold up. He's got President Obama is going to speak at his funeral. He's going to give a eulogy at his funeral. George W. Bush, he was able to reach across the aisle, and even to the men that that beat him and kept him out of the White House, he extended that olive branch to them, and he wanted them to speak at his funeral. Meanwhile, he doesn't want Donald Trump anywhere near his funeral whatsoever, right? So we've been hearing a lot of that over the course of the time that John McCain passed away. The truth of the matter is, though, that as much as they would try to steer the narrative of John McCain being a maverick, as much as they would try to steer the narrative of John McCain being principled, as much as they would try to steer the narrative of John McCain being above the partisan politics of today's climate, Google is our friend. And as much as they try to blow up, and the media has to a large degree kind of really blown this up, the distance between John McCain and Donald Trump, all you have to do is look it up and find out that John McCain voted over 83% of the time on the policies that Donald Trump promoted, right? 83% of the time. Now, truth be told, man, there's not a whole lot of people in this world that I would agree with 83% of the time. It's I can count that many people on probably one hand that I would agree with and promote the same ideals with them 83% of the time. While everybody believes that, we stand for two completely different things, that we are two entirely different animals. When no, John McCain voted with Donald Trump 83% of the time. And not only that, man, you think about some of the, they're kind of whitewashing a lot of this shit now, man. But John McCain was for going into Iraq and sending more troops into Iraq and occupying that country, a country that we should never have invaded in the first place. Remember, we went to Iraq because, George W. Bush said they had weapons of mass destruction, and guess what? They didn't. Right? Guess what? They didn't. We got to hit the people that hit us on 9/11. Well, guess what? Iraq ain't had nothing to do with that shit, John McCain was like, yo, we need to send our boys in, man. We need to go in there and put some foots to some necks, and we need to go in there and like hold down their shit. We really need to say, like take their oil, which is sort of the same ideal that Donald Trump kind of espouses. We need to take their shit, right? We need to take their shit. This is the same shit that Donald Trump was saying on the campaign trail, bruh. John McCain and Donald Trump wasn't that far apart, man. John McCain voted with that dude over 80% of the time. But yet the media will have you believe that, yo, man, John McCain was, he was a champion. He was a champion for veterans. He was a champion for the American ideal. He was a champion for what was greater. He was a champion for, reaching across the aisle. Like, yo, man, I don't see it. And I didn't even get into how John McCain was one of the pivotal voices in Arizona that spoke against having Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday celebrated as a holiday in that state. Right? Let's not even get into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, John McCain has been, I get it. Like, in death, man, a lot of people feel as if, well, you can only speak the good of these folks. Like, yo, it's the same thing with Antonin Scalia. Like, these motherfuckers don't mean you no good. They don't mean you no good. And the fact that they died doesn't mean that the shit that they did to regular Americans with no real political clout whatsoever, it doesn't erase what the fuck they did just because they died. I saw something, I think it was in GQ, man. It was a quote. I was like, man, I actually like that quote, man. It was like, you don't get kudos for being the nicest asshole in a room full of assholes. That's kind of what John McCain was. That's kind of what John McCain was, man. It's just been interesting to see how we've deified John McCain in his death, man, knowing that a lot of the policies that John McCain put forth and a lot of the policies that he championed, weren't really they weren't really benefiting the average American to a large degree. And much more so, they were of promoting the American empire. Right? They talk about John McCain. He was a warrior patriot. He was a warrior patriot, all right. He was a warrior patriot to the tune of taking somebody else's shit. But John McCain, he's dead at 81. And that has been the news. It's been in the news over the course of the last week, man. You know what? Before I get off of this, there's been a lot of talk about the flags being lowered to half staff, right? Like, they've been on Donald Trump's ass about being about the White House flag being lowered at half staff. One, I'm about to blow y'all fucking mind and take up for Donald Trump in this one instance. What? Yeah, I'm about to take up for Donald Trump just this one time. What? You heard me. But yeah, man, so Donald Trump, being the petty motherfucker that he is, decided I'm not going to, he lowered this flag to half staff, and then he put that motherfucker right back up. And then it was a lot of veterans groups that came down nah, man, you got to honor John McCain. You can't do this. If you do this, then we might end up turning our backs on you. Right. But truth be told, that was the one time that I can say maybe that Donald Trump was being real about his fucking feelings about that dude. Even though he voted with me 83% of the time, man, fuck that guy, right? I am a fuck that guy kind of person sometimes. Man, fuck that dude, right? I'm like that sometimes. However, that is the only sliver of Donald Trump fucking support you will ever hear on this fucking show, right? Because here's the thing, Donald Trump has made the troops, he's made the flag, he's made that some shit he done wrapped himself around in and say he supports the troops and all of this stuff. They get mad at these NFL players for kneeling during the national anthem. And here you got somebody like John McCain, who dies and supposed to be a national fucking hero, who went to war in Vietnam while Donald Trump didn't. And Donald Trump was like, nah, fuck that. It just lets you know that all of this rhetoric about respecting the flag, respecting our military, respecting the vets, respecting the troops, is all bullshit, baby. It's all bullshit, man. Like this dude, like if that wasn't the most classic fucking like yo, like just taking the coat off and just saying, fuck it, this is who I am, dog. Like that's what it was. Like Donald Trump in his pettiness revealed, like, yo, I don't give a fuck about this flag shit, man. I just say that shit for you dumb motherfuckers to follow behind me and talk shit about these black people or talk shit about these damn stupid ass football players because they don't understand what the fuck's going on. Like that was his coming out. But of course, they don't see it that way. They don't see it that way. They're not gonna even try to see it that way. But that's like, dude, it was the most blatant example of that. It was the most blatant example of that. But yo, man, yeah, that's in the news, man. That's in the news. John McCain dead at 81.